So I'd say that pitch count was 6:30. I got you. Yeah, we talked to the corner. Would have missed a freaking game ready. By it with less than what the other work. I don't think it's real stuff. They missed it. Planning board. Yeah, same guy was there. Yeah. Right here. It was falling. Where was also camera? Thanks. Yeah, take a look. Like the look. Good luck. See you here? Yeah, she just walked in. Which one she did? Cindy standing. That's the dress, yes. Yeah. Don't mind me. These games. So. No, that's Susie. Yeah, I'm sitting next to standing next to some. Standing next to some. Yeah, that's Susie. That's not. That's not. You want to do it? Yes, it's. What thoughts? No, that's where it was. She was. Private school. Yes, yes. So she got with that range. You finally got that straight. She's still. What kind of sharp as I actually liked her. So definitely, yeah. I tell you, she is still too. She was still. Listen, I don't hear set the tone. To basically say, oh, I'm going to stand means of participating to the music. That you just go. And then it's cats. Yeah. So, yeah, whatever you need. Actual. So here it came in and it's like this. Here. I just said, who's it? It's October. But you see him. Bob's here, I saw him.
Check. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to believe it. It's kind of wasted on the court. And I'll hold anything back. I want to talk about it. Let's be careful. I don't. Well, yeah, we'll put it down. What else in here? 22. Right.
It's the second one where it's like this.
Exactly. Really great. Really beautiful.
Here's loud.
Really don't turn it into. Let her be judged by others outside of this court. For sure. Well, we heard nothing. Well, that's reached out 3 times. So we're like, yeah, everyone's there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll wish you the.
Yeah, I think, well, you might reach out to say who's back.
Yeah, that was.
They were like 2 months ago, they're waiting. They knew it was eating.
Right. There's the one, the other one. Yes, right.
Oh, I do.
One month.
Yeah, two reports. Okay. Never happened. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Unreal. I am the only, yeah. I can't do any motions of work. So all we're gonna do tonight is let. Yeah, that's it. And I'm gonna deviate from the agenda. Or. I have to deviate from it because I can't vote in the minutes or anything, so. We're set there. Like that. Yes. I like the way you're going on this, Harry. Well, I know, Joe already told.
Right. They go.
Oh, really? Just do you. Yes. Oh, yeah. Was I last? No, but I approved the payroll. Actually, I probably won't. I'll just go ahead and just tell the story. That was. Call the meeting to order. All rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, payroll and AP warrants are signed. They're good there. Pam had left this on top of that. So I take it this is my copy. Okay. All right. Okay. This evening we have, people don't know, this is Ron Smith from RHR, the town's auditing company, and is here to give us a brief, speak to us about an exit audit and current audit statuses. Now there will be a lot of questions from the attendees, but we need to stay on point. This is exit audit, financial health of the town of Brownfield, nothing more. Okay, so I will release to Mr. Smith.
Good evening. I'm Ron Smith. I'm the principal of RHR Smith and Company. I believe we do more than 2/3 of all the entire government in the entire state of Maine and Vermont. So I know who you are and what you are. And I can feel growing pains of our company because we've gone from 38 to 82 people in over 14 months, because of the auditor shortage. And I'm here to kind of give the state of the state where I understand Brownfield is, answer any questions that you guys may have of me, from what I understand right now. And probably the where to start off is that I haven't been in this room in this type of form for over 2 years. Okay. And I haven't been in this room and in this type of form for over 2 years because your bank account wasn't reconciled for 3 years, and it held up many audits, for the town. So I understand that there's been some concern. I understand with some of our neighboring towns of what's been said here in Brownfield. I was asked to come to a selectmen's meeting back in January, but I wasn't able to accommodate that. And then I heard nothing back from the town of Brownfield. And my response to the town of Brownfield back in January is your cash reconciled for June of 2022? This is January of 2024. And the answer was, and I repeat, no. So it's pretty hard to do about an audit, when there are a lot of dangling participles and there were some issues with your software too as well, but those were well after the fact, after 2 years of when your audit reports were due. So there was a delay in the audit, for sure, through no fault of ours. We certainly extended our hands. You brought in outside consultants to try to, to reconcile your cash. I understand there was a parting of the ways of one consultant, and that was really a trying era for the town of Brownfield because of the errors that were made with tax payments, duplications of those tax payments, running into 2 fiscal years of those tax payments. I could go on and on and on about assessing errors of over $1 million over the past 4 years of the town of Brownfield. But the fact of the matter is the town of Brownfield was under siege, and it was under siege because of accounting, and or lack of, so that certainly delayed a lot of the audits. And I'm kind of here right now to land 22's plane, talk about 23. I understand that your 23 cash is still not reconciled. I understand 24 is not reconciled. So we're here to provide, some support and whatever details are to Lynn to give her the best chance to sit in that seat and succeed, and I always want to say is I've been doing this for 35 years. And all we care about and all I care about, certainly is the best interest of this state, the best interest of government in this state, and the best interest of giving people like Lynn, a chance to sit in their chair, and do the best possible job that they can. And I believe to do that in Brownfield, that there's some wholesale changes that need to be made, as we've been saying for 3 years, about really kind of the state of your books, and really, the accuracy. It's no secret. I see some former selectmen in this room here right now. We've been talking about this for a long time, and there's no need to get into the politics. There's no need to get into the banter. The fact of the matter is, it's time to get this shit back on track. We've always been there, always been there. Okay. Always been available on the other end of that phone. I understand we were reached out to. I'm not aware. Okay. So again, we just want to right this ship so that you understand and can make informative decisions as taxpayers, be heard as taxpayers. I understand the chatter that's going on because I've received many calls from the regulatory agencies out there on some of your concerns, and based upon some of our audits submitted. So I am crystal clear through many third parties about the town of Brownfield, except the town of Brownfield. And that's bothersome to me because I can't do business that way either. So I understand that there were some concerns about town meetings and validation of those town meetings and whether or not the Secretary of State needs to get involved and kind of executing the wishes of the town of Brownfield. I understand that there's a huge endeavor to build a new fire station that ran into some, for lack of a better word, planning issues and some recycling of money where some questions were asked about me, what I would do if I was in the town of Brownfield's shoes so we don't compromise a lot of money that exists out there for us to build what I assume is a project that you all want to have happen here. I don't know about that, but I know I want to give you the best information to make those informed decisions. So I think having said that, we're landing the 22 plane. Okay, the town has information on the 22 audit. It ain't pretty. Financially, through a lot of whatever you want to call it, luck, and that's not a good word to look in government. Financially, I think the town of Brownfield is very solid. Okay. But I think it's very solid for some wrong reasons because of some errors that were made in past certificate of assessments and things like that. And, kind of cash flow being mitigated by holding on to extra money that you shouldn't have had in the first place. I mean, we can go on and on about the depth of details. And I guess, probably where I would start is I'd pick it up where I left off the last time. And I'm here for you. Okay. So whatever questions that you've got about your financial condition, whatever question you've got about me and my reputation and my firm or my lack of response to the town of Brownfield, here I am. I'm always prepared to come to a beating, and I've been for 35 years. And I'm not sure that this is a deserved beating if that's what wants to get laid on me into Brownfield. I'm the messenger. And when you need us to guide you and facilitate a process to tell you that your bank accounts for 3 years in your accounting is problematic. These are the worst kept secrets in the town of Brownfield, but yet we're still talking about it. So again, I'm here for you. I'm here to be that sounding board to get this ship continue to be pointed in the right direction. Here I am. So
first question I'd like is, could you walk us through and explain the exit audit that, from my understanding, was requested by the town?
Back in January, an exit audit was requested of the town. Just so we're clear, we were just finishing up the 21 audit. Okay, and I'm not sure we actually got a response back on some of our concerns with the management letter. You have all the information. It's not like I'm making it up. That information was delivered to the town. The audit and a management report. Okay, I understand that the state may be behind in filing audit reports. The information exists. Nothing's being hid. So, and not once was I asked to furnish any other information because I didn't know better. That if anybody didn't know that you were 2 years in arrears of audits after we delivered 21. Sometime in January, I was approached by, and I don't remember who from the town of, from the town of Brownfield about coming to a selectmen's meeting. I couldn't make it work. But what I could do is ask questions about, hey, we're going to be doing the 22 audit. Is your cash reconciled? And I quote, no. I'm still working on it. So this is in January of 24. That's the last time that I've heard from the town of Brownfield. I had conversations with your treasurer. We've sent people between January there to here. We understand that there was other issues that we were completely unaware of, that until we got here, that's no way, to try to finish audits and be responsible to you all, because I work for you all as taxpayers. Okay. I've talked to your consultants that were hired, okay, that weren't re-engaged. I understand, depending on who you were talking to, that the consultant didn't engage or the town didn't ask that consultant to come back. Nonetheless, you had a very qualified person in here helping that raised a lot of questions, very good questions that were eye-opening, that quite frankly weren't coming from the town of Brownfield for 21 or 22. So there's what I know. There's the last time that I was asked. We delivered a 21 audit back last fall, as I recall, with that management letter. I've delivered to you all a 22 audit with a management letter. I've had many conversations with many pertinent, regulatory agencies about such matters. I've had many conversations regarding some of the concerns with all of your neighbors. What I haven't had is any conversations regarding the management with the town of Brownfield. And that's what I'm here to do tonight, is have any conversation. And you all may ask me a question so that I can answer.
Deb?
Ron, can we have reassurance that Lynn will be supported by your office and the state?
So the answer is yes. And let me just leave no doubt, every one of those people that sat in that office in all their respective chairs, it wasn't just treasurer, it could have been tax collector, town clerk, with a variety of answers that we would provide and support over the course of the year. We never not answered the phone. We never not returned telephone calls. We just didn't. Okay, so we will give you our unconditional support. And I think, as I sit here in the front, of this, that's always been offered, and that hand's always been extended. That hand was never accepted.
It will be now.
100%.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question. These past 5 to 6 minutes that you've been speaking, I've heard a lot of hearsay. And it's hard to put hearsay into context. I think you've done a pretty good job about that.
Just so I'm clear, you've heard hearsay from me?
Just now.
Okay. I don't think what I'm saying, if it's coming out of my mouth, is hearsay if I'm getting a chance to kind of respond to that.
You reference talking to this person and that person and this person and that town and that town.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay. That's okay. My question is, I'm not sure how relative that is. I guess it's you're forming a foundation of kind of what's going on here. My question is, what are the two of the real obvious wrongs that need to be shipped right?
The capacity that was in the accounting chair and the lack of delivery of information that this town can make informed business decisions. That is first and foremost. And we've been saying that for 3 or 4, actually probably 5 years, and there is documentation in writing, not hearsay, that supports exactly that. So that would be the first and foremost thing. And I would say communication. You use the word hearsay. I don't have that privilege to operate on the words of hearsay. And it's a bad day for me when I'm hearing everybody from the client, from not the client, from other people about what's going on, and having to be given excerpts of minutes, that are either videoed or thing. And I don't call that hearsay, so I always am prepared to make things right and take a beating where a beating's deserved. But I can't sit here in front of you and answer whatever questions if I'm not asked. So.
Eric? Who's that in the back?
No, wait.
Okay.
Yes, it was referenced that the previous audits were still working on those, and you're willing to offer as much support as possible to get cash reconciliation and get everything done. What's the cost gonna be on that to town revenue?
Well, I think that we need to have some conversations with Lynn and Rick, and this poor girl has just been in there, so we're 2 years behind in bank reconciliation, so there's some immediate concern. There was a trio epic failure, on that caused some huge accounting nightmares. Lynn's right here, you can ask her, what some of her concerns are, but I think that there needs to be a very calculated plan, when we talk about what the needs are, and then we can provide you guys a very detailed blueprint. But I think the first and foremost, thing for Lynn, is support. But what kind of support? We're talking trio support, we're talking general ledger support, we're talking about inheriting, a cash account that hasn't been reconciled. And if you look at trio is off $2.8 million, what kind of support are we talking about? Okay, so there's a lot of concerns, that exist out there, but I think that this town needs to show that position support. I think this town has shown that, and that support needs to be embraced, and we're happy to play whatever role this town wants us to,
Vicky?
Well, I get a question I was asking you, but we are building a public safety building. To help with the town, on that portion of it.
Yep.
How it looks for us, move forward with the 225. And, let's
Understood. So somewhere, I don't know, in the past 60 days, yes, and I think the first few weeks leading up to town meeting, as I understood back 1 year ago, the year that we're trying to get into audit right now, that it was the wishes of the town, to move ahead with a fire project, solicit grants and funding, that exist out there from USDA to move together with this project. And I understood that there was a financial commitment necessary from the town that needed to make this matter. And as I remember, and I have the emails, you do too, based upon my exchange with you all, here. And I think I recall 250 that the town was going to use from its back pocket or fund balance, and like 700,000, that it was going to raise through taxation. As I recall, that never happened, but it was raised through taxation, we believe. To which my response was, and I believe it was confirmed, by you all, is that was in fact the case. Well, if the project didn't happen, there's $700,000 sitting out there, for a financial commitment from the town. I can't validate that, confirm or deny. All I've seen is warrant articles. All I've seen is a certificate of assessment that I understand contains this math in it. And I responded, to you all about what I would do. And that's the fact is that this town was prepared to make this project happen. May I suggest whatever it didn't happen be discussed, and that we could roll over that $700,000 that should be, sitting there, from the June of 23 town meeting for this fiscal year 24 that's ended 3 weeks ago, that we can talk about really the mathematics, on how we do that and what the options are for the town. The town clearly had $750,000. I responded to that. The town clearly should have had $700,000. I responded to that. It's just more details now on what the town wants to do to execute this project and what's the wishes of the town, so we can determine how it's going to be paid for and where it's going to be paid for. And as I said in my email, this town has options. Okay, you've got capital reserve funds. One's the fire department. You have the ability to move capital reserve funds, around. In 22, you had almost $450,000 of capital reserve funds. In 22, you had $1.4 million. Okay. In 23, I expect those numbers to increase. Okay. And I expect them to increase. The question is do we need to shelve any of it because of what we told the taxpayers for this budget that just ended 3 weeks ago? So that's about all I know here right now. And if this project is going to move forward, that clearly financially this town is in a good position to take advantage of that opportunity. I just need to know more details, about what it is. But I have responded in an email. I was asked multiple times to confirm multiple times that, that the advice I was giving was correct. It was correct. I knew, that I knew probably more so of what your financial condition was on where you were going to land on 6/30/23 than you all did, which is why I could say with confidence my response back to the answers.
So when we did the article for the fire station, we didn't acknowledge it was high.
Yeah.
We just did it this year.
Yeah.
0.5. So
I saw math, so I'd have to go back and look at the math that was provided to me.
Community set up for a month. And doing the same thing.
No,
Yes, they put in $400,000.
no, I'll disagree with you.
I didn't put a dollar figure. on it.
Right, no, but I'll disagree with your statement right now that the article was a raise and appropriate money. It was not. The dollar numbers, the dollar figures that were put in that article were to let the taxpayers know that that would be that amount of money that we would have to raise and appropriate if the grant was put in for and received. However, excuse me?
They said that money had to go in.
No, incorrect. No, completely and utterly wrong. That article was not a raise and appropriate article.
That's why I couldn't figure out why they said it.
Right. They, from my understanding, it was legal to raise and appropriate that money. But the problem with it is in that article, it stated if a grant was applied for. Previous to that article, right here in Selectmen's meetings, we voted, the 3 select board members, which was myself, Dick, and John, that we would go after the public safety building grant and not the community center. So why the select board? Because I left. I was not elected.
Yeah.
Why they made that choice, I can't answer to. But it was not a raise and appropriate article. And I'll argue that until I die.
Yeah, there was some strange language to that, but the point being is that $700,000 that you thought was going to be there and planned on being there, I confirmed it was still there, and whatever the language or lack of, with that article, I understand there wasn't an execution of that grant, which to me is like, okay, all right, where are we at right now? And then I got started asking questions. So financially, I think the town is still in a position to put that fire department up based on everything that I've been providing.
Well, there was an article, as you all know, you went to town meeting. There was an article to utilize $722,000 out of reserve to offset tax rate. It was defeated.
That was this year.
That was this year. And I agree with it. I voted to not expend it because we'd already had the article previously that raised and appropriated $225 to be taken out of reserve in order to hire a architect. Then that would be applied to the $950 that would our share of that public safety building grant. So we have the money there. So I guess my question to you would be, would we be smart to put that in escrow?
Yeah, well, I think that based upon what this conversation is and what the wishes of the town, you still want to put up a fire building, you still want to go take advantage of some COVID money that's out there to do so, because you'll never get this opportunity again. So clearly, as I said in my email back to the town, those financial obligations that you wanted to commit to for this fire station, that money's there. That money is clearly there, and I saw and had provided. I just can't opine on it. I can only opine on what was put in front of me, but I can tell you what was put in front of me was certainly that the town certainly could support, and I think it was close to $900,000 between reserves and its commitment for the $250. That money's clearly there. It's clearly there. So I just don't know what the, what the wishes of the town are, but as I said to Rick when asked this question, late last week, I'm more than happy to help you, put this project back on course, if that's what you need. So we can certainly look at you and say where the money's gonna come from, because I'm still not sure. All I know is what you guys thought, where it thought it was gonna come from. But we're still trying to marry where you thought it was going to come from to your books. And guess what? Even with your cash not reconciled for 2 years, I'm still confident that that money's there, to commit from the town.
Where? So to kind of piggyback on some of the fire station stuff. Just have a bunch of questions because it's easier for me to do that than remember because I forget. So I think parts of some of them you probably kind of already answered. So if you can touch on the
So I'm clear, you have a commitment from the USDA in writing for this $2.9 million, correct? So I'll answer number one, yes. Okay, now, is that the best course of action for the town to obligate 950? Yeah, where from? Does it make sense to do 250? From your undesignated fund balance, does it make sense to take 500 from your capital reserve? I don't know. I'm still fuzzy on that math, but I'm prepared to help you.
Ron, can you read the questions?
The town received a USDA grant in the amount of $2.898 million. Is there any way you can presently determine whether there will be enough money in our town surplus account to cover the town's obligation of $950? Yes. What surplus accounts? Are we talking capital reserve? We talking general fund undesignated surplus reserve? Which one are you talking about? And that's really where, as I responded back in the email, you got the money. Where? Give me more details so I can tell you where to take it from if I were you. Would you recommend that the town use money from the reserve to cover this 950 obligation or to cover the cost of the bank loan or a bond? I always say in a typical time and year, it's better to take long-term projects and use long-term money, borrow to finance it. Okay, so I'm not sure, and I believe I responded that back in my email or conversation regarding is the town considering borrowing any money, for this $950,000. Here's what you got working against you. 2 years ago, it was a no-brainer of a decision. Okay, but interest rates have gone up like almost 2% since then, and we got a presidential election. Probably now is not the time to borrow money, but maybe next spring is when we're going to build this project. When's this project going to land? Those are the details that I'm prepared to help you with. The bond bank's got infrastructure, money out there right now, the same infrastructure money, that I'm sure the USDA has to be able to, for Senator Susan Collins to commit these funds to some of these various projects, that they have out there. You've got many options, including yourself, if you choose to go that route and use all of the 950 to finance the town. Okay, is that the best idea? I'm not sure that's the best idea. I'm just giving you advice based on the questions that were asked me. You've got that money. Okay, you expected to spend that money. Okay, you went back, and I'm not sure what this last vote was at the June of 24 town meeting and kind of where this project is. You don't want to lose this opportunity. So let's talk about how we pay for it. Okay, and like I say, the article was poorly worded, and I'm not disrespecting your question. Surplus account, which one? Because you got a lot of them. Eventually, we will ask the architect and engineer to prepare an energy cost estimate for annual operating expenses. Does your office have the means to estimate the annual energy cost for a 14,000 square foot building? We have no desire to offer that. There are resources at Central Maine Power and Maine Efficiency to do that. We're auditors. We ain't number crunches for electricity and capacity. So sorry. To move forward with this planning process, we need completed audits for 22 and 23. When do you think those will be completed? When will they be sent to the state auditor's department, and how long does it typically take the state to post audits online once they have received them? 22 is landing as we sit here and speak. I can't land 23 because you haven't reconciled your bank account, for the entire year of 23. I know Lynn's made a very college effort, to do that based on some struggles with Trio and some hiccups in Trio. Looking at that, it's ugly. I mean, there's like a $2 million bunch of stuff that came out of nowhere, with Trio with an update, and and we're still trying to figure that out. So there's some support that Lynn's going to need, to do that. So where am I going? 22 could be issued now. But here's what I'm sure of. I don't know how long it takes the state, to do that. I know that question's been asked of the state, so in defense of Matt, I know he's in a lot of these situations and his department is working as fast and diligently as possible to post these audits. 2021 should be there. 22 is en route. When's that going to be done? I would argue by the end of this month. 23, I don't know. I can't answer that question because I just know your books are ugly, and I just don't know what ugly looks like right now because there's a lot of flavors of ugly with your books and a buffet of problems. So when will 23 be done? I think that we're here to talk about kind of like a strategy tonight, and a game plan to do that, so we can get back to you with some math and accuracy, to do that. Okay, what we can do is qualify your audit opinion. That's an easy thing to do, but that really doesn't give you answers. So 22, we kind of took that high road right now because of the state of your books and the problems on how they were delivered to us. So 23, I would expect the same way. I would expect 23. Lynn doesn't want to look at it and say, I can't trust these books. She wants with accuracy, and confidence to say, I can trust these numbers that I'm giving to you. So there's some work to be done. I would hope that probably within 60 days, we could land that 23 plan. There's been a lot of work we've done everything we can, including testing and everything that we could do, but we can't finish without a reconciled bank account. We can't do it. So that's the best answer I can give you about 23. 22 plan is landing as we speak. So.
Does the state have a formula that specifically states how much a town is allowed to have in surplus as opposed,
That's a great question. So for municipalities, the answer is there is no written statute that dictates how much surplus you can carry over. What we recommend and have been for the town is a fund balance policy, given the fact of those assessing errors that were made into the past. What's your plan to give that money back and to use it for? And like I say, it's easy. If you're going to build a fire station, that money's sitting there. Let's use it for that, because it's there. But there is no formula that the state has that dictates that. If you were a county government or school, there are statutes specifically that address how much you can carry forward.
Thank you. Chip? Yeah.
You mentioned some assessing errors that $1 million or so in previous.
Yeah, so it's in writing.
So are those going to be something that back to bite us?
Well, that's the reason why you're sitting on reserves or surplus. The general fund surplus is about $1.4 million, and some of that I think has been given back by the town, and using it for tax relief and things like that. Maybe some more is going to be given back, in the form of, funding for this fire department. But I'll give you the standard rule of thumb: 30, 60, 90 days of your operating budget. $4 million. This ain't news to you. Okay. 16 and 25%. So on a bad day, if you wanted the highest of that threshold, we are talking on a $4 million budget. We're talking $1,250,000. I believe you're playing for fund balance in 23 with the intel that I've been given and looking at some of the ugly that you've provided us and, your attempts to kind of reconcile things. I think you're going to land in the neighborhood of 1.5. Okay. So even if you say 60 days, all right, I'm just trying to do some math. 60 days. All right. So that's about 700,000. There's $700,000 or $800,000 right there. So you tell me where you want to take that money to put this fire building up and go take advantage of this grant. And that's why I'm saying the math's there for it to work, but what's the best way to finance this project? So.
Anybody else?
Is there anything you can recommend, but what the minimum we should have in surplus?
60 days.
No, I mean, as far as a dollar figure, as
60 days, which would equate to about $700,000 to $800,000 in brownfield terms. You've got about 1.5.
Right.
That's why I'm coming up with the math of that 700. That was asked of me that before town road.
All right.
Thank you.
I apologize for my dress attire. I came from baseball practice. I'm going to a baseball game, my son's baseball. He was a foot from missing a dingo the other night.
Thanks a lot, Rob.
Hey, thank you.
That and that question.
Yeah, and this one.
Yeah, that would be the next audit. What the additional is
Yeah.
for. Okay.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, looks like that. Yeah, I'll put that in for next Tuesday.
Okay.
But listen, one last piece of advice that I will leave you all. If there's any other further questions that you have, if there's any other, deeper questions that you have that I can answer, may I suggest you go through your board, put them in writing. I am more than happy to do exactly what I did here tonight and answer your questions for you individually. Absolutely.
I have a question.
I gotta go.
You mentioned Trio being a catastrophe or a mess or whatever. Does that mean the system itself is a mess or the data entered?
There, so both. So the data entered or not entered, I should say, was problematic.
Mhm.
Trio, to compound that problem, had some software hiccups, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, they were aware of them. There was through no fault of yours. That exasperated your problems for sure. And I could go on to some other problems too. So, but those are the two primary things.
Thank you, Ron.
Sure, everybody take care.
So.
Yeah, buddy. Good luck.
All right. Well, I don't have the correspondence folder, so can't do that. Next week, Frank will be back, so we'll have a regular meeting along with motions and vote. Can't do that tonight. There's only one of us, so I did receive the list from the planning board for the comprehensive plan steering committee. Names are as follows: Steve Nutting, chair; Terry Lockhead, secretary; Joe Egan, Terry Egan, Kurt Wood, Sue Eland, and Lisa Thompson. So we'll make sure that next week, when Alvina gets back, I'll have her type that up and we can sign it as appointment papers so that there's no more questions of who is it. So we'll take care of that. Let's see. And there are minutes available for that implementation committee, those meetings, and I'll make sure that those get posted on the website. Okay. What's we got? Yeah,
Speaking of minutes, are all minutes, or all select board minutes posted on the website?
they should be.
You know if it's up to date?
I do not. I haven't looked or verified that, but I can.
The last one posted was March. The March one, I need today.
Then I will.
No?
Yep.
Over. Reading. You see it because it's so far down in the menu. It's called Board of Selectmen at the very bottom of that menu that you normally go to. If you look at it on the phone, you can easily see it. But around March, I think that's when it was created, because that's when she started putting the agenda up.
Okay.
So that's where you're gonna find the selectmen's meetings. I think this may be in there as well, but that's where you see the
Yeah, I'll find
selectmen's
that.
meetings in the
Okay.
agenda.
Thanks, Cindy.
It would be awesome though, if you could
Perfect.
put this Zoom up next day on YouTube, because you can't change what's in the Zoom.
Right.
I don't in it.
Well, I agree 100%.
I know you can't vote on it.
Right. Well, no, man, but we can definitely make this a little easier for everybody to get a page added to our website for the meeting minutes, agenda, things of that nature, Zoom meetings, things of that nature, so I don't see why we can't address that.
It is there, it's just really hard to see on the computer for some reason, the list is so long. You can.
Could be organized very
Or.
This is the word.
On a computer, it's messy, but.
Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that Cindy Walker donated paper for the newsletter today, so we just want to thank Cindy for her generosity.
Dickie, the building committee. Could you provide me the list of the members, who the chair is, who the secretary is? And get that emailed to me before next Tuesday, please. Because we'll do the same thing that's a committee that was created by the select board, so we'll do the appointment papers and minutes. Are there minutes being recorded of those meetings? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have it, could you have those meeting minutes turned in to get put on the website? They happen what, twice a month? Twice a month? Okay, so a couple days, would that work? Get them turned in, get them crafted and turned in?
You're talking the couple days to get the previous ones, because I'm taking more than that, but moving forward. By following.
So say if you hold a meeting on a Tuesday, could you have the meeting minutes turned in by Friday?
Yes.
Okay,
I have them as a draft. If we want to go ahead and have them. Kind of approved like the select board does at the next meeting. That it would take to the next. Committee meeting to have them.
so have you been doing that right?
But
Have you been doing that right along with opening your committee meetings and essentially voting on minutes approval, or
no.
is that something that's starting like now?
Right now.
Okay, all right, yep. All right, yeah, if you could just provide the draft, then we know that's gonna be 2 weeks, but with those, and please superimpose a draft on them. They can at least be put up on the website so that taxpayers can read, kind of stay up to speed on what's being talked about and going on. So, okay. Cindy Walker, did you by chance get any anything on the camera upgrade or anything like that? Okay. Okay. All right.
Stan has a
Oh, yep.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
I asked Albina if it was a roster, the number of the bunch of pay.
Okay.
I didn't. A document.
Okay.
There's only 9 members on here.
Are the select board included?
Sure, yes.
Well, that's all we have, right?
See Albina, I thought
She's not. The selectman's assistant has never been part. And Eric and Bill, you can do this. The select board and the treasurer were voted via town meeting to be members of the budget committee, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Lynn should be on it.
Or something.
Correct.
And then Lynn, that would be letter, and that's what we're supposed to.
Yep, quorum, yep.
Sometime, but I like to make sure that budget group meets September.
Yep.
Just to know what we're
Yep.
getting into.
Okay, well, you can add Lynn's name to that list right now. Regardless, because that was taxpayer vote, so there's no argument there. If I remember correctly, Alvina was on the budget committee Cause she was on there the last year I was on the board. Yeah, so she,
She wasn't,
right, so,
before Frank got elected, so.
right, yeah, so she wouldn't, she's not part of it, because she did not do appointment or election. So. Yeah. So the election, if people didn't know, nomination papers were available starting today. Through 7/26/24, they need to be returned by 8/9/24. Ballot posted by 8/9/24 by close of business, and then the election will be held 9/17/24. Now, last week, there was a question asked on whether or not we would do articles, questions on that ballot. It's my opinion that we don't on this ballot, only because our newly elected town clerk, she's got her hands full right now. So in my opinion, it would complicate the process a little bit. And I would appreciate if we could kind of just do the election this time. And that'll also allow us time for any of the article questions that people want to bring forth. We have another vote day in November. So we can do a local ballot, but that gives us time for those questions, those articles to come in, be vetted with the attorney, and then we can create our ballot. So just so everybody knows, I as select board, I do not want to put any article questions on this ballot. I think she deserves the opportunity, at least, so.
That makes sense.
Joe?
But the other thing that would be nice is if we are gonna have articles on the November referendum, if they could be published ahead of time so that all of us could look at them and then have a public hearing to discuss them.
We have to.
You know, but also then possibly make changes.
Yes, agreed. We have to have a public hearing. We have to, and I believe it's 2, if I am correct, informational and then the hearing itself, so that any changes. And I do want to say this, with the articles that are brought forth, they'll be vetted to make sure that they're legal, within scope, the whole 9 yards. Has nothing to do with amendment. Because this will be a closed ballot, secret ballot that people will vote on. So technically, there's not going to be any amendments. So we'll make sure that they're all within legal scope and put out there. Last year, year before last, there was a public hearing next door. And the first thing it said was, we'll answer your questions, but there will be 0 changes to this document. 100% disagree with that. I will not, no. You're the voters. You ask a question and you ask for a change, and it's substantiated and comes across that it is a valid change. It is in my purview that it will happen. So I want everybody to know that this isn't we bring a document forward to the taxpayers and tell you, well, take it as it is or go without. No. Your voices will be heard and changes made appropriately for the documents that are brought forth for the taxpayers. So if we get into that scenario, I hope that the taxpayers come forth and ask the questions and ask for the changes that are appropriate. I hope you do. So.
Thank you.
So the election for selectmen will be in a written ballot in this office.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, closed ballot. Heather's already, I read the dates for that. So September 17th. Whip.
Never mind, you answered it. I never heard.
You got hearing aids? Stuart?
So.
Okay.
Was that resolved?
As a matter of fact, Article 6 and 7, I had a very brief conversation with the town's attorney, Mary Costigan. I asked to see the information that was provided in regards to Articles 6 and 7 and a few other topics. And she is going to get that information put together and to me. All right, so I will state this. I have questions about the Article 6 and 7, how it was, everything panned out. But I will say this, she provides the information to me. I'm going to follow the town's attorney on speaking about it or putting the information out there. If she says this is not to be released due to town protections or whatever the case is, I'm not an attorney. Don't claim it to be, no idea. I just want to make sure I'm clear. If she tells me that I cannot release information to the public, I will not. So I will release whatever I am provided that is legal per the town's attorney advice. So. Oh, just so everybody knows. This is so awesome. 8 years, sat on the board. Bill, you were what, 9? 9 years on the board? Yeah. Eric, 12? 2 accurate expenditure reports in 1 month. Absolutely awesome. So. See. Survey. Okay. So, anything else? Huh?
You got an exit letter?
No, I do not. I do not have an exit audit letter or a management letter. I do not have that. That has not been provided. It will be provided to the town via the treasurer and then presented to the board. We will have a discussion with the treasurer, and at that point, we will invite the auditor back, as we did for many years, and he will basically give us our audit brief publicly with the audit booklet at that time. So I do not have the last management letter. So. Anything else?
Keep up the good work.
Yeah. Yes.
Both of it. Thank you, thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
All right, if nobody else has anything, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you for attending. Yes, what I did is I didn't cut Steve's because it's not, and I won't change it. So I just signed here. Do you want me to put chair? Is it required?